battle has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know what they have done. 5 legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do. Heavy metal.
Hello and welcome, everybody, to Week 4 of the Upsurge Premier League. As always, I am going to be your host and play-by-play audio, and joining me is none other than my lovely assistant, Johnny Vincent.
Hello.
We have an exciting match today. The first day of the second round robin, which means we are going to be going up in a rematch against Illinois State University, who are unfortunately able to take us down 2-0 in week number 1.
Yeah. Hopefully HU can come back in this round of the round robin and hopefully climb the ladder in the bracket for where they're sitting right now and get some more wins under their belt. ISU also took down, was it Mirage or the following week after that?
Yes, ISU did take down, I believe, Mirage.
I'm putting you on the spot, my bad, bro.
You're putting me on the spot. I'm scrambling to find the VODs. Let's see. Yeah, they took down Mirage 2-1, so it was a bit more of a closely contested game. And in that original matchup between Harrisburg and Illinois State, the game one was a bit of a stomp. But game number 2, Harrisburg was actually in control for most of it, and then you saw Nuclear pick up that quadra kill around the Baron. And enough reminiscing of the past, though. We have a draft to get into. Already have a couple of the picks here. All of the picks, actually, as we see the full lineup from these squads. Notable mentions, of course, we're going to have that Samira in the bot lane. First time that we've seen it here on the stream since her release. And it's on Nuclear, who, as we were talking about, was the one in that original series that was a big component of ISU's win. He's the one that picked up that quadra kill. He has been the bread and butter carry for the squad.
Yeah, he's been performing really well in both their games, especially against HU. He was the one that kind of threw this team on the back and was able to carry, and his team was able to support him in such a good enough way that he was able to carry on the Jin, and then I believe the other one was on the Kaisa. So yeah, hopefully we'll see what he can do on Samira here. Samira, I think, is an interesting champion. She does a lot in her kit. She definitely has the potential
so much in her kit
to carry.
Just champions these days, man. They don't make them like they used to. Back in the day, it was, oh, you're a rock. When you press your button, you dive in as a rock. You throw the rock at someone. Your Q, you throw a rock. Your R, you go in as a rock. Like, now you've got champions who they've got 4 or 5 dashes on one form of their Q, and things get pretty crazy. But I am excited to see how this game shapes out. We also saw Tempos picking up the Rakan. That has been a champion that Loop has played a lot over the last couple of weeks. Loop obviously has looked incredible on it, but now we get to see him on the Leona, which is a bit of a counter pick, and I like to see it. He obviously knows Rakan extremely well, and he's going to be familiar with these counter matchups as well. If Tempos does dive in, it is a bit difficult for him to get out, although I will mention wonderful interaction between Samira and Rakan. Since Samira has that dash on her E that gives her attack speed, you get this little leapfrog action going on between the two characters where Rakan can dash to Samira, Samira then dashes through Rakan, and Rakan can use the second charge of his dash, and you can just cover an incredible amount of distance, and it makes this duo very mobile and very hard to lock down, almost similar to something like the Thresh Callisto, where you can just keep pulling each other.
Yeah, especially what's the giant AoE wind wall ability that blocks all the projectiles.
Oh, we haven't gotten to the memorizing ability names portion yet. We will be featuring the Samira W here on the stream today.
The circle wind wall thing. So that's gonna be, if Nuclear can see the Ash Arrow coming in time, and which I'm sure he's gonna be able to do, he's gonna be able to throw it up and just like dodge that. Block that ability completely, and that's such a huge part of Ash's kit, being able to pick people out. So if Nuclear's paying attention, he can body block for his teammates and just bloop, throw up the wind wall, the wind sphere, and just block it. So that's a big piece of engage for HU.
Thankfully, there are some other options for Harrisburg to engage onto Nuclear, some more melee options, but we are going to be going to a short break as we get ready for game number 1. Don't go anywhere. The start of this series will be coming real soon. And welcome back, everybody. Game number 1 between Harrisburg University and Illinois State University Redbirds. Let's go! That one's for you, Shorter Ace. And we are going to see, of course... Actually, no, this is surprising. I just assumed this was going to happen because they've done it in almost every single game. Harrisburg are stacking as a 5-man line of scrimmage. Johnny, I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, they're not going for a invade or a level 1, so maybe they're trying to change up their playstyle so they're not as predictable. If they've been, if ISU has been looking at the matches and seeing what HU's been doing in level 1.
Yeah, it has been pretty successful for them so far. Interesting stat. Harrisburg University has gotten first blood in every single game this season except one. And that was game 2 against Illinois State University, the first time this squad met. And of those first bloods, I'm pretty sure every single one has come before 5 minutes, and most of them come before 3 minutes. So that just goes to show how much this team loves their level 1s and how much they prepare for it. You can see the counter warding is actually coming out, and we may see it yet this time. Flash already blown from Gluten Free Panda, and the whole squad is here. The Zenith Blade, as Loop is going to tag him up, and Speedo is going to take him down. First blood clock at 1 minute and 38 seconds. The trend continues for HU Storm.
Another one for the stats booklet. Throw it in there. ISU goes in for a level 1 against Xyle in his red side jungle, and it backfires quite a bit. So now we're going to see Xyle hopefully... Oh, no, he's not going to get too much of a lead with the start, but...
Yeah, he is
Flashes
thankfully going to pick up his Raptors right away. That is kind of the play ISU was looking for, was getting Gluten Free Panda in there to steal away the Raptors and then go straight to hers, as has becoming the standard for Lilia. But instead, Harrisburg, they get the flash out of the jungler. That's going to relieve a little bit of pressure here early on. They also get the flash and teleport out of Dat, so that is going to be big. It allows Speedo to shove in this wave as free as he wants, and Dat has to take a poor recall if he wants to get that reset.
Yeah, Dat also had to blow his teleport as well as his flash, so if he's getting bullied a little bit in lane, it's going to be hard for him to get back, and Speedo can crash a wave in. Speedo can make a TP play elsewhere on the map if he wants to, and that's kind of a free play that HU can look for. Speedo and Xyle as well did use their flashes level 1 there, so neither of them have it. So Dat kind of has to be careful. If Gluten decides to come top, he doesn't have the flash to get away, but he does have the Q, ward hop, combo mechanic thing he can do to get away. But Speedo is going to take a early recall with the first blood money and maybe get a nice little item lead here.
Yeah, it actually is going to be canceled there at the last second by Dat, so buying himself a few extra seconds. But he does have that wave frozen in front of his towers, so Speedo realizes, yeah, I can't really push up that far with, out my flash and the jungler being around. We'll get back to lane, though, with the early calls. This is going to be the scaling option coming out from Speedo. Sacrificing a little bit of that gold he got that could have turned into lane pressure. Instead, wanting to make sure he scales up as quickly as he can. It is Gluten Free Panda hovering around that top lane. Meanwhile, Loop is wrapped around the turret here in the bot lane. And we see not a lot of action coming out from either one of these squads. Everybody just kind of playing it safe while those summoner spells come back.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty passive early game so far. Maybe ISU is looking to commit a dive onto Speedo on the top lane, because that is a huge wave. And if they're able to get Speedo out or to make him miss any of it, that's going to be pretty detrimental. Detrimental, thank you. I don't have my thesaurus and textbook, my dictionary.
You forgot it at home?
I forgot it. It's in my other room.
First rule of casting, always be prepared.
Well.
Oh, like a Moss,
nope.
Prepared for that gank. He's just going to bob and weave over that swirl speed and going to walk away. Tempos goes in for the grand entrance, but not finding much. Loop has been very active so far in these early couple of levels. Despite no plays happening, he is constantly hovering between bot and mid. And here you can see the teleport being channeled. He throws out the Zenith Blade, but Screwdozer is a squishy pilot there. Or, sorry, a slippery one. See if we can get away.
Trade going down top. None too interesting happening on the map thus far. Kind of everyone just at a standstill. Xyle, what's he looking for? Looking for a recall.
Where's my blood? Where's my action? My team fights. I was promised the quadra kill. Or, yeah, not promised. Wixie, I want to see that again. That was absolutely amazing. Still one of the highlights, I think, of this season was Wixie picking up that quadra kill. But it makes sense. Both these teams have more scaling options, more scaling win conditions built into their comps. So we're not going to see a lot of action early because we don't need to.
Speedo really overextended here.
Yeah, he is level 6, which has given him the confidence for the dive. He has those extra resistances, but it doesn't matter when Dat-Dat's just dodging your auto attacks. It is going to be the kill going over to Gluten-Free Panda. Big mistake by Speedo.
Yeah, especially as a Jax, diving, or just trading with Shen sometimes can be hard too if Shen has his W up, his shield that blocks any basic attacks. Because all of Jax's damage comes from his basic attacks besides his leap, which isn't an insane amount of damage. So going for that dive there kind of blows that he wasn't able to finish him off, but really good from Dat to survive long enough and to survive the dive itself. I think Gluten was able to pick up the...
Yeah, and it is going to start to throw away that early lead that Speedo had gotten for himself. Now the gold lead 300-400 in the favor of Illinois State University. And scarily enough for Harrisburg, it's actually Nuclear who is quietly getting a CS lead in the bottom lane. You can see him with that BF sword plus double Doran. Once Samira gets access to that early attack damage, is when she starts becoming a little bit scarier, especially come that level 6, because essentially having no cooldown on that ultimate, just relying on hitting your abilities. Oh no, Speedo, he's pushed up. He has the flash this time. Is still level 6. Counter-Strike is going to find the stun. Here comes the ultimate from the Galio. Can they get Gluten-Free Panda before it's turned around on? Stand United is going to be canceled, and that means that Dat is going in the ground. The whole squad has shown up to turn this one around, and Harrisburg get 2 quick kills. Meanwhile, Wixie does have to blow the flash in the bottom lane, but a really great turnaround from Harrisburg.
Yeah. HU's players were on the right side of the map for that play. Xyle was able to rotate up as well, but as well as Moz was able to run far enough to the top side, get the ult down to protect Speedo from that 2v1 and really turn the fight down. And then Lupo was there to help hand.
Now we got a big fight going on. Nuclear is able to hit that ultimate, and he finds the kill onto a flashless Wixie. And that's the danger of that Samira. Like I said, as soon as you get access to that early BF sword and get that level 6, you become such a threat. And you can see there on display the mobility that Samira plus Rakan as a duo provides.
HU, they did pick up that early Ocean Drake while that initial first dive was happening top where Speedo was diving Dat. So they are having that Drake advantage early, and it was early one at that, so you might be able to hit Soul Point here soon, as in, not soon, but pretty early on in the game if they're able to pick up a couple more dragons.
Yeah.
Not going to be the Ocean Soul, though. Ocean off the table. Maybe we can get Cloud Soul, the best soul.
The best soul. I think you might have some Redditors that would disagree with you. Obviously, Mountain Soul is the best because it protects fragile ADCs like me from those scary, scary assassins. As Wixie is in trouble right now. He's wishing he had one of those shields in his back pocket. Gluten-Free Panda is going to take him down 0-2 now in this lane. Unfortunate.
Gluten was the one to pick up the kill, so it's not going to Nuclear's pocket, not all that gold, but Nuclear is going to keep building up the CS lead. He's already 13 up, and he's going to get more. He's getting 2 tower plates, but Speedo on the top side already got first tower and all the plates to himself. So Speedo's in a good position to carry here, and he's also up like 12 CS, 14 CS. And Speedo, we know from last week that Speedo can run away with the game if they play through on that.
This is par for the course for Harrisburg University, especially when they're running like a Moz in the mid lane. As you see a bit of a scuffle. Loop's still level 5, it's incredibly squishy. We'll see if a collapse comes out. A lot of members shuffling around. But you can see Harrisburg, especially when they have like a Moz in the lineup, it is a much more top-focused game. As here comes the dive, teleport already being channeled.
And that.
The raid boss has joined the fight. Another teleport coming through. There's going to be the enchanted crystal arrow. A lot of CC being put down, but that is so incredibly tanky, and Nuclear is shredding through health bars like a hot knife through butter. He is making Harrisburg regret the decision to send the members down to his lane kingdom. And Illinois State University pick up another team fight win.
But there was a fight happening on the top side of the quadrant toward the tier 1 tower mid lane, and I believe it was Zyle and Moz was able to pick up the kill versus Gluten. They were able to get that kill in the pick there, so they did get something back. And now Moz has a nice little bounty on his head. How does he have a bounty but Nuclear doesn't? I don't understand how bounties work. Is it just how much gold they have?
So it's how much gold you've gotten in a certain time period compared to your opponent. So, you know, if you pick up 3 or 4 kills in a team fight and your opponent, you know, only gets 500 gold in those 5 minutes, but you got 2,000, you're going to get a bounty on your head. Same can be said for farm as well. If you just pick up a massive amount of farm compared to your opponent, that can generate 1-2. But here comes another fight. The Dragon Steel by Zyle. That was going to go over to Harrisburg, but like a Moz is going to get popped like a balloon. He is strong, but he is still squishy. Yeah, it's gone for that full AP build. And Harrisburg will trade his life for their second dragon of the game.
Yeah, he's only at like that green balloon level from blue tower defense. He's not one-shottable, but he's still pretty easy to pop.
Later on, he'll be the ZOMG or whatever it was. You have to go through like 15 different layers. Oh god, that is a blast from the past, Mr. Johnny. You got me all nostalgic right now. Good look though from Harrisburg. Although they did lose like a Moz and more gold is starting to go into the pocket of Nuclear, which is obviously going to be scarier and scarier, they're at least able to start stacking up those dragons for that potential scenario.
It didn't work for them last week. I know I was talking a lot about that in one of their matches last week.
They got a Cloud Soul.
Game 2. And they had I think they ended up getting the soul that game, and then they just weren't able to capitalize off it.
Ooh, Zyle? Okay, maybe I got a bit excited. That's pretty tanky. Yeah, he's just gonna walk away from that one. Not even a lot of objectives to play for right now. So we'll see what the next couple of minutes holds for us.
Yeah, the next rift spawns when? A minute and a half? So we'll see if that's something that they go for. Moz is splitting alone bot side, and the rest of the teams are in the mid lane or on the top side. Oh, nope. Dozer's going bot.
Is going to try to pick up that wave. No teleports available for the side of Illinois State, so once again, we're probably going to see a little bit of a slower pace for the next couple minutes. But Harrisburg, they at least have been looking around. Honestly, one of my favorite things about watching Loot play this game, despite the fact that he's only participated in one of the kills, this man is constantly on the move, walking around, looking for fights, laying vision. It's just, I never see him in the same lane for like more than 30 seconds at a time.
Yeah, it applies a lot of pressure on the other team too, because it is Leona. She has an insane amount of CC and lockdown. So when the pings come out that, hey, Leona's not bot, there's a lot of pressure that Luke can put onto the map elsewhere, whether that be mid, in the jungle, anywhere. So it's really useful to have. But he hasn't been able to capitalize too much on those roams, and Wixie was capitalized on, you know.
Yeah, there's still time. We do see Speedo now proxying the wave down here in the bottom lane. ISU is attempting to just trade this tower for the one up top. As you see, they are going to be bringing Gluten-Free Panda up here. He's already started up the Herald. This one should go over to him. Harrisburg is very focused on that bot lane. And oh no, like a Moz, the Justice Punch gets canceled. And that means he is in danger. He's trying to clear out the wave. Nuclear, he's looking for that stack up on his ultimate. There comes a Stand United. But like a Moz, the fancy footwork gets him out with just a sliver of HP left.
Yeah, Moz was able to pinch walk on out of there. He used his. No, he didn't even flash. He didn't even have to flash. He didn't have it, but he did get the flash out of Nuclear. Moz lives. They got the Shen TP out, so I'm not sure if that's going to be up in time for the next dragon. It actually might be up in time. But yeah, he lives. They lose the tower, but they're getting a lot of pressure here on the tier 2 in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, Speedo is now brought his CS lead up to almost over 40 at this point. He is getting close to that, to being he's 3.5 thousand gold ahead of Dat right now. So I definitely think that Harrisburg is happy with how this trade has been going, getting all of those long cooldowns out, as well as picking up nearly 2 towers in trade for the 1. So they are going to be feeling really great. Speedo is going to be able to match the damage potential that Nuclear is going to provide in these fights. Speedo actually the highest income member in the game by 100 gold over Nuclear right now.
Yeah, but Nuclear also has a huge gold lead against his opponent in Wixie. He's sitting at 7,500. Wixie's sitting at almost 5,000, so 2,500 gold lead. That's pretty juicy. So we'll see how that impacts the rest of the game in this next team fight that I'm sure is going to break out here on this first mountain.
Yeah, and although there's a slight gold lead over to... I really like this play. Slight gold lead over to Illinois State University. That should potentially go up here as the Rift Herald is going to be taking down that tower. And they're just using it as a distraction to go over to the turret. So this is a really well played by Illinois State University. There's not much Harrisburg could have done there. And probably, that's probably the right play for them to make anyway. Because, yes, you have a very strong Jax to match the very strong Samira. But Samira's always going to be more effective in that team fight with the huge AoE ultimate. Speedo's lead is really best used in this side lane right like this against Dat.
1v1.
He has the slow, but Dat is still pretty tanky. He has the flash available. He will walk away, but a little bit worse for wear. Luke is down to just a few hundred HP, and Gluten-Free Panda is going to dunk him into the dirt. Picks up his 3rd kill of the game. Really starting to stack up that damage on the Lilia. Speedo, we'll see if he gets anything here. He doesn't know where Panda is. That's why you can see him hesitating.
Yeah, Luke caught out. Wrong spot, wrong time.
This is just starting to border on bullying here. Style has to flash away from his own red buff, because if Nuclear wants it, Nuclear gets it. Is how this game is starting to shape up right now.
Yeah, ISU seems to be playing and letting Speedo do what he wants, and they're trying to capitalize on other parts of the map. They got a really good pick on Loop there, and they decided to continue that pressure and go to the top side and take that red for free. They were able to blow the flash off Zyle, so that's a timer that they can play with. That's something they can use to their advantage, as the next trade comes in 3.5 minutes. He's not going to be able to have that, so ISU are extending their lead that they already have and taking it little bit by little bit. Even if Speedo is a huge amount of gold ahead, Shen is still going to be a useful champion. He has the taunt, he has that shield that blocks all basic attacks, and most importantly, he has that ultimate, right? So he can protect Nuclear, he can peel for him even more. Peel for him, Speedo looking for something. The team's collapsing bot lane.
Dat gets a couple of good auto attacks off. Speedo has a lot of DPS, and he thought his jungler was there to help, but Gluten-Free got pinched off there by Harrisburg University. He does bring the Jax very low, but now Drudozer is the one in trouble. Luke flashes forward, and the kill is all too easy to clean up. Like Amaz is going to pocket that shutdown. An extra 450 gold. Speedo did fall, unfortunately. He was too far behind enemy lines and could not get the save.
I think HU takes that, right? They were able to get some shutdown, right? Yeah, they were able to get the shutdown off Drudozer. They got the flash off Drudozer, another. That's really important. They got the TP out of him. And they got the flashes out of Dat and Gluten. Yeah, so it's a win. I see this as an absolute win.
It comes at a time where there's not much risk to losing a team fight either. There isn't a Baron up. There isn't the Dragon coming up anytime soon. There's no real objectives to play around. So it's not like, hey, if we trade, an extra kill over, it's not like we're going to lose 5,000 gold in the wrong, across the map. So it was a very low risk, potentially high reward play from Harrisburg. They end up trading 1-for-1, but as you said, they come out slightly ahead in the end. And now they are back and ready for this Baron fight. You can see Speedo pushing up to the top lane. He does have teleport if he wants to just continue pushing in and try to create pressure. He also got to finish the Triforce on his last base. So that is going to be really huge if he decides to join the team fight.
Oh, it looks like Speedo might be walking into a trap here. Oh, gets knocked out. He gets sneaky time.
It means nothing if he goes down right away. 1v4, there's just nothing he can do. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and ISU had his number. This makes the Baron dance a little bit scarier because the main damage threat is now gone. You still have like a Moz who is 3-1-2. That is Galio, and he is a little bit more focused on that single target first.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go for the Baron. Nuclear is bot lane, and that's a lot of their DPS there. He's matching into Moz, so I don't think they're gonna do anything special with the Baron. They already get that free pick. Now they're looking on Zyle. Flashless.
They are gonna catch him out, but he only falls down to about half HP. Good job getting over that little corner of the wall safely and staying away from gluten-free Panda. Doesn't really mean much for the following fight. And Zyle's gonna just be able to go back to base, shrug that one off, and still be back in time.
I don't believe they used any big ultimates. They did use the Recon ult for that, I believe, in that fight. So he's not gonna have it here for this Drake fight if HE decides to fight for it.
Though, he has caught up to Nuclear. There comes the Stand United out of Dat. They see like a Mon join the fight. They are just going to back off. It is just an ultimate there, traded for the teleport from Speedo, actually.
They got the Shen ult out.
They also got the
Speedo blew the goal. HU can look for a fight here, then transition that into a Drake. We'll see what happens.
Yep, Speedo
is able to get out.
Big thing, keep your eyes on Nuclear in this fight. He lost the cleanse in the last skirmish, but he still has the flash available. He also has that big ultimate. Finish the Bloodthirster, which means that ult is basically going to heal him to full HP unless he is interrupted. So yeah, Harrisburg, they don't even want to try. They know that this isn't even for the sole point. There's really no harm in letting this one go over as long as they can contest the future ones. And they just weren't set up. Nuclear was in a prime position to turn that into another week 1 scenario where he just gets a quadra kill around the objective and snowballs out of control.
Yeah, it was only Moss the entire time there. Oh, Moss looks like he's going to get picked here. That's flash.
He is caught out, does pop the W, get a little bit of damage reduction, goes gold, and Speedo will see if he can turn one around. He has a lot of damage. Moz even able to get out safely. Speedo, so much resistances with that ultimate. He is just 1v4ing to buy time for the rest of his squad to come through. The raid boss has gone in. Nuclear's gonna pop the ultimate. There's the healing, but it's interrupted. He gets 1 kill. He gets 2. Zyle will shut him down before he can get any more. It is a 2-for-4 in favor of Harrisburg University. And with their jungler alive, that's gonna be the call to go to Baron.
I still have no idea what that champion does. Like, I look and I just like 200 years. I have no.
It's more or less a a Katarina ult that you can move while casting it. It's essentially the best way that I can explain it. You can actually say that a lot of her abilities are other champions' abilities while being able to move. You've got the Wind Wall that moves with you on her W, and then you've got the Katarina ultimate that moves with you on her ultimate. Another interesting thing is that her ult will proc lifesteal, so that Bloodthirster in her inventory is doing a lot to keep her healthy when she does ults.
Fun champion. Needs to get an executioners for that real quick. Oh my goodness, that's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, Zyle did.
Sorry, they have the Ignite out of loop, so that is one thing, and so they can hold off a little bit longer.
Zyle was the one that did get the shutdown onto Killer there, so he got the gold in his pockets. I'd like to see the gold probably go elsewhere. I'm not sure if Zyle is going to be the one to really carry this game. He definitely can. Graves.
Don't let
champion.
Zyle hear you say that,
One
man.
shot.
He's going full lethality. That is a Chad Graves build if I have ever seen one. No
Zyle
crit,
is
no
Chad.
resistances here today.
Doesn't need it. He is the Chad.
Except for
Speedo
those
did pick up a
ninjas.
triple kill there as well. So Speedo's getting even.
Yeah, we saw Speedo in that fight. He pops that ultimate, and with the Conquer, he was able to stay alive for a ridiculous amount of time. Now, though, Zyle has to
Zyle?
flash away. They get the quickness out of the Rakan, and again, that's all Harrisburg have to do here. They have Speedo split pushing. As long as they don't lose any members on the rest of the map, they are perfectly content to drag this one out.
Yeah, they just gotta be careful though, because Dat can join the fight with the Stand United, but Speedo doesn't have the teleport. It should be coming up relatively soon here, the next minute or so. So they just need to stall it out. Let Speedo get his TP, so if there's a fight that does break out, he can be there. Or they might just give it and let Speedo break down the gates and get the next the in-hit tower along with it. Jax takes those really, really fast, especially with that Fork and Triforce. One shot.
Yeah, he's going to shred them like they're made of paper mache. And at some point, Dat is not going to be able to stop him. You can see only the Titanic Hydra completed for the Shen here. I mean, he has the Bramble Vest, he's got components, but you look across the way and it's the Blade of the Ring King plus Triforce. That is not a cheap build by any means out of Speedo, and he just picked up a couple of more trinkets to add to the garage sale. He is just so incredibly strong. Doesn't matter if you can dodge the auto attacks. Eventually, this Jax is going to get to a point where I don't know who's going to be able to mash him on the side.
But maybe they don't need to match him either, though, right? Because if Jax isn't there, all that gold isn't in the fight. So if they're able to stop the Jax TP, like if that is able to taunt, stop the TP, then ult in. Oh, I guess as well. Never mind.
Yeah. There are, of course, options for these two teams to play
There
out
are
the team
options.
fight. It's not a one-sided game by any means. Still, 30 minutes into the game almost, we've got tied kills, tied turrets, tied drakes, and less than 1,000 gold separating these two squads. This is like one of the closest games we've seen all season, but there's the pick onto Gluten Free. He is going to go golden by a couple of more seconds. Wixie, he's looking for the kill. Speedo, in the meanwhile, is 1v3 in the back line. Stand United's going to come out, and there comes the package from Dozer. Doesn't get a lot done, a little bit of damage on his Zyle, but that's about it. Harrisburg is on the retreat. Both sides suffering health bar casualties, but it is a little bit more healthy and more river control for the side of Illinois State, and that's going to mean that they're going to get this third dragon uncontested.
Yeah, that puts him on soul point here for the mountain, and that ooh,
Harrisburg, they want to try to trade the Baron.
Coming in though.
Immediately spotted. The teleport's going to come out, and now they have to run for the hills. It is going to get a summoner spell. Sorry, for themselves, but they want to go for this Speedo. They got to be so careful here. They have not gotten a reset off. They are still a little bit low on health bars. Like a moss flashes forward. There's the knockup, but can they get the damage? Drew Dozer has already taken out the Galio. Nuclear has the ultimate firing. A double kill already for Drew Dozer, and things are falling apart for Harrisburg around the Baron. They looked for display, but it was Illinois State that turned it back in their face. And they're going to get multiple kills and the Baron, a huge swing in the game.
Yeah, that really puts them over the line. The game was kind of, stagnant, standstill, even, but this really just pushed them over the edge. So now ISU is going to have a nice gold advantage, going to have a Baron advantage as well. Tempos played that fight really well. He was able to get the knockup on the members that were pretty much right in front of the team and was able to CC them long enough. Nuclear got the cleanse out, flashed out of there, and then he was just able to heal insane amount through the BT, and then that Phantom Dancer as well probably did keep him alive there. So he didn't get insta-bursted, that shield. But yeah, really good fight for ISU. Puts them in advantage. Drew Dozer, also, he was able to pump out a bunch of damage. I wish I could see the damage graph. That would be really nice. Because I'm sure Drew Dozer just pumped out a bunch alongside Nuke.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are restricted by technical limitations. We don't have access to the nice LCS damage graphs. I wish we did. They should add that. Hey, Riot, I know you're watching this stream because, you know, it's Harrisburg, the best collegiate stream out there. Why don't you send us the code for the damage graphs? We'll all be a little bit happier. You can see lots of CC being committed towards that here. And Speedo picks up another 300 gold for his personal pockets.
Yep, we called it out earlier that HU has really good pick potential with the Ashe, Nona, and they were able to get a free pick off on that, but they did lose the bottom tier 2 here, and ISU is still going, still knocking on the gate.
Yeah, I do like the play, though. They are not just rolling over and letting these structures fall. They're at least creating pressure elsewhere and getting a little bit gold back in their pockets. Much better than just slowly bleeding it out. 4,000 gold down, not out by any means, but things are starting to get a bit scary because there's a lot of scaling on the side of Illinois State University. You've got the Corky, you've got the Samira, the Shen as well goes up to an incredibly deep front line, and Speedo, this is your one hero for Harrisburg, and he's looking at a gray screen for the next 45 seconds while Illinois State wears the purple capes. And now it gets a whole lot more dangerous to defend against this Baron. Dat is pushing in the side lane. He has the Stand United join. And there comes the Team Lullaby out of the Lilia. Just going to use to buy a bit of space, and that inhib turret is going to fall. 31 minutes into the game, the inhib will drop, and Illinois State will back off.
ISU should really be able to close this game out. Oh, Zal tries to stop the base, doesn't work. ISU should be able to close this game out relatively easily, I believe. They still have the Baron up for a little bit here. I don't know how long. They have it up for a little bit. So they're going to be able to break down that top tier 1 tower, tier 2 tower in the top lane, get that gold in their pockets, and then all they have is the top inhib, bot inhib. So they're just going to farm up, reset. I'm sure they're going to push out, and TP coming in from Judozer.
Ooh, he is on the flank. He has the package available. There's the Stand United to bring in the Shen. And already Wixie is just deleted. Harrisburg, this is looking like they're on their last legs here. Already a pick onto the ADC. Now Speedo is really the last hope for the squad. He wants to be split pushing in that side lane, but he just doesn't feel comfortable with it because Illinois State are going for the end right now. This is the last stand for Harrisburg. The wave immediately cleared out from Like a Mod. That's going to buy a lot of space, and it will seem like Illinois State, they're going to back off. They're going to fall back to this dragon. Soul Point, 4 mountain dragons is what Illinois State is looking at right now. That would make them so... Like, we talked about how difficult it already is to kill this Samira with the lifesteal she has, the Phantom Dancer. Throw on a GA and 4 mountain drakes. She's going to be impossible to take down.
I'm glad Illinois State decided to not just wait there for another wave and try to fight them in their base. Really dumb decision to do, right? There's just Soul Drake spawning. They're able to fall off, grab that. HU gets the tier 1 mid tower, brings the gold back a little bit, not an insane amount. So ISU, they're still in a really good position now with the Soul Point as well. They're going to get that shield that respawns every so often, that makes them a little chunkier, a little beefier. And now they just need to play the map. They need to play smart, right? You know, 1-3-1 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do something.
At this point, you have to just straight up avoid nuclear because there's no way that you can kill him in the fight when he has the Guardian Angel plus the Mountain Soul on top of him. So Harrisburg, they're just looking for other opportunities. That he might have had a rough game up to this point, but he has now gotten to an incredibly tanky point. Speedo doesn't care though.
Look at ISU. ISU are just pushing topside. They said, all right, thank you for your sacrifice. We're going to push top. We're going to get this objective. We're going to get them. We're going to start hitting on the next inhib tower. And they're using the pressure that gave them, that HU capitalized against, and they were able to get another tower. They were able to break another defensive structure for HU, and they're pushing their lead further. But Jack's Speedo is knocked on that bot.
Harrisburg's just trying to stop Bax right now. They realize that they're not going to win the fight, and so they're trying to buy time for Speedo. However, it does look like one member is able to get back. Drudozer will be matching him. There comes the engage now from the 4-man squad. Nuclear on a killing spree. Gluten-free Panda has to flash away, but already ISU has their eyes on the base. Speedo is trying to get his own recall off, and it's just this push and pull of the top and bottom lane. Speedo versus Nuclear. Neither team wants to go anywhere near these two carries. Yeah, he was spotted out there by Drudozer, and so the only option to get back to base in time was to burn that double.
They still have a window to do Baron, though. They have 20 seconds until Xyle spawns. They have ward coverage all along the top side, so they should be able to melt this Baron here between Drew and Nuclear. This thing should be gone. And then with that, they hopefully should be able to push even more. You know, like I was saying, get the other towers, crack the base more. Then I'm not really sure what to come back from the deficit. And
yeah, it was looking really close for a long time, but now when you're staring down the barrel of a 6,000 gold lead Baron plus a Mountain Soul, you get into that territory of like, all right, guys, we'll do our best, but minus some abhorrent mistake from Nuclear that causes him to die even through a Guardian Angel plus Mountain Soul. There's really no way that they can realistically come back into this game. So they're just going to start to have their eyes, start to have their minds on the next game and what they need to do. And for that, Johnny, I have 2 words for you. It's ban Samira.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of new champions that usually come out, I'm not really a fan of. They don't really excite me. They just seem more like annoying than anything. That's not my job to do.
This is where Harrisburg plant their final stand, but Wixie's already gone. Drudozer on a rampage. It's a triple kill for the Corki in the first few seconds. Speedo is going to have to go 1v5 for this one, but it could be the final kill of the Penta. Drudozer is going to finish this game 1 out in style. Illinois State, they will teleport Dad in, use those cooldowns, flash those emotes, pad those stats. Illinois State are picking up where they left off in game number 1, and Harrisburg, they aren't even going to give them the satisfaction. They're just going to go for the surrender.
Crazy fight. I'm glad HU tried to do something there instead of just like rolling over and waiting for them to fight on the inhib tower or the nexus towers. They tried to fight there. It didn't work out. The gold lead wasn't in their favor. The damage, the dragons wasn't in their favor. So hopefully they can come back in game 2 and get an advantage, keep with that, and play through that advantage it had.
Yeah, there has to be a way to keep Nuclear down in this series, or it's going to be a huge uphill battle for Harrisburg. You see the philosophy. They say, okay, we'll give you bot lane. We'll draft something safe like an Ashe and a Leona that gives us some team fighting power. But then where we really want to play around is through Speedo, is through that top lane. And we have seen him consistently in the last few weeks been able to get advantage when he gets that counter pick and gets those resources. But it was just too much from Nuclear. There was no way for Speedo to overcome the power of the Samira. So next game, I would definitely like to see it on the ban table. I think we will see a much different game from that point because honestly, this champion just offers so much power. But we are going to go into a short break as these players get ready for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. Illinois State versus Harrisburg University is coming right back. And welcome back, everybody. Game 2, Illinois State University versus the HU Storm. Harrisburg, it was a close and a bit of a boring game all throughout game 1, but right there at the end, we saw Illinois State start to run away with it. This time, we've said some changes that we want to make. We'll take a look at the draft and see whether or not it happens, because that Samira was very big in game number 1.
And HU decides to let it. Well, I guess we'll get there, right?
Spoilers, Johnny. Let's
spoil
live
it.
react with the fans.
Live
like we
react?
don't know it's
Oh,
like you're walking into a surprise party. It's already been spoiled for.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
I
Yeah.
had no idea. But yes, as you can already see from Harrisburg University's bans, the Samira is not one of them. It is the Shen joining us from last game. The Katarina was a return ban. I believe they didn't ban the Zillion last, or they did ban the Zillions. Yeah,
They
so
did,
those were the
yeah.
2 bans. It was the Orn was the third one
Unfortunately.
last time around. This time it's the Shen. Samir is going to be instantly snatched up by the side of Illinois State University. You'll see it come through in just a minute. But we get to see Speedo return to something like the Camille, which is always exciting.
Yeah, so HU seems to think that Samira wasn't the issue. It was just minor game plans that went wrong during the game. The minor issues that happened during the game that they can fix. It's not the champion. It was plays that were made, so they let it go through. HU drafting, again, looks like a comp that's able to help Speedo out and enable Speedo to do what he does on the split push on the fight. 1v1s, that's what Speedo really excels at, getting the lead, doing well with it, and why he wasn't really able to get the game really on his team's side last game. Hopefully with the Camille, he's able to do that. He has I think he has better team fight presence with Camille being able to lock down the Samira with ultimate, keep him in that box so she can't cleanse and flash away, and then rest of HU can dogpile on them. The Galio and Camille combo, really good. Camille leaves him in that giant AoE area. Galio's ult, that giant same AoE area. Then
It's like a
they
puzzle.
can really just combo. Yeah, puzzle, and those pieces, they match and they fit together. But the Lulu in the top lane, to try to slow down Camille and be more of a defensive turtle that is going to be able to help Nuclear later on in the game and able to help Gluten as well, and Judozer, all the other carries that ISU picked up on their side of the.
Yeah, we saw a couple of the extra bans come out to target Dat's champion pool and prevent him from going onto one of those tanks that is going to be extremely useful no matter what state their lane is in. But instead, the Lulu coming out, it's an interesting one. We've seen Lulu start to pop up more and more in the solo lanes in the last couple of weeks. And one of my favorite things about Lulu, especially going into these very aggressive matchups, is the polymorph. It is such a powerful tool at shutting down engaged champions. If you can time that correctly, you can actually polymorph the Camille out of her hookshot. You know, she'll still go forward and she'll still get on top of you, but you can actually prevent the CC from coming through, which can be the difference between being able to flash away to safety or just getting bursted down instantly. You also have the ultimate to interrupt in the same way, having that little knockup associated with it. So a very defensive team fighting comp for ISU. It's not all resting on the shoulders of Nuclear. You still have some late game threats in the Cassiopeia and the Kindred, but there's a lot of tools from every single player to support Nuclear. You've got the Miasma to shut down things like the Alistar Headbutt Pulverize, or Graves trying to dash in, or the Arcane Shift. You've got the Lamb's Respite there to just drop that on Nuclear if he ends up getting hit by this Camille ultimate. So there's a lot of, I'd say, anti-death mechanics coming through from Illinois State University that Harrisburg have to be mindful of.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ways that ISU can shut down that heavy engaged lockdown that they've drafted, and we'll see how it plays out. I want to see how this level 1 goes. HU, again, they've gotten first blood in all except one of their games, 2 of their matches, and they get them really early. I want to see if ISU goes in for another early invade, a level 1 invade again, tries to get some
won't get it. Maybe HU is going to look for something. I know that HU loves to do that dash over the Baron Pit wall into the red invade. So we'll see if they go for that again here with the Camille and the Graves. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that is going to be the question. Harrisburg, they're on their last stand here in the series against Illinois State University, down 0-1. Best of 3 means they lose this game, and they will be winless against Illinois State for this regular season. Don't go anywhere, though. We're going to go a short break. Game 2 will be right back for you. Welcome back, esports fans. It's game 2 between Harrisburg University Storm and Illinois State University Redbirds. We're a game down in this series as Nuclear, who was the star carry of game 1, was allowed his Samira once again. We'll see if Harrisburg can shut it down this time. They are again clearly playing through Speedo. And look at this level 1. This one's spicy. Wixie, do they know? Oh, luckily, he just happens to walk away from that right as Tempos goes through. That could have been very bad.
And look at it, top lane. They called out at the beginning. They were pinging that bush. They were able, that was able to place a ward down there. They're learning. They are aware. So they see Xyle there. See if they try to make a pick onto him. Speedo is not with him, and they're looking to collapse.
Yeah, they don't know that they've been spotted out here. Now Xyle caught behind enemy lines like a Moz, though. He flashes over, and the hunters have become the hunted, have become the hunters as a trapception is going on here. Summoner's Rift, but Harrisburg, don't you worry. They always come out on top on the level 1, except for that one time they didn't.
Except the one time they didn't. Yeah, they get the level 1. Xyle's able to get this red buff. We'll see if they split the map here. I'm assuming they're going to split the map because ISU should know that he's taking this red buff, especially that Speedo coming. So they're going to split the map here, most likely. And Speedo did get the kill from the level 1 invade. So already that one of their win conditions is starting to snowball effect. Now I want to see if HU is able to really capitalize on that this game. Ooh. Xyle looking mid. Juju does not flash.
Yeah, he is. The taunt's going to come through, and Trudozer has nowhere left to go. Can he get the final auto attack? No! Xyle's auto attacks got blocked there by the minions. I feel like since Trudozer's flashless, there was an opportunity for Xyle to flash under turret as well. Obviously, it's very risky, but he's found a new target, including Free Panda. Loop is coming up, still level 1, but he's going to use the flash to get in range. Gluten-free Panda, one more auto attack, but he gets the heal from Nuclear. And a lot of really close calls, but at the end of the day, Harrisburg is going to walk away empty-handed.
I wouldn't say empty-handed necessarily.
They get a lot of summoners.
A lot. They got a lot of the summoners, but as well mid. Like, even just for that mid lane matchup, getting chunked off and having to blow your teleport instantly, that's that feels pretty nice for Moz. That should relieve a little bit of the pressure from that matchup for him, and even help him start building an advantage now.
And this is starting to become very impressive to me. Watching Harrisburg University over these weeks, they always go for the same level 1 play. And you can see that teams are starting to pick up on it, and they're starting to adapt to it. But Harrisburg is still succeeding, even when Illinois State thought they had the drop on HU and were collapsing on Zyle. It was still Harrisburg who actually was an extra step ahead. Now, though, Dat, he was winning that trade, but now he's going to 1v2. Red buff will slow him down. He has flash, he has shield, he's going to be fine, but he will take a chunk of damage.
Gets chunked out again. That should help Speedo. Oh, yeah, Speedo's just going to reset. The wave is in a good spot for him, too. Unless... Oh, he gets away. All right, yeah. That's just going to shove this in, and I'm assuming, yeah, Speedo breaks the teleport. It's going to come on in here. And I'd like to see him freeze it, right? He has an advantage here. He can keep it on his side of the map. Put Dat in a worse situation. Make him walk up to get that CS. But Gluten is topside, so he could always run up and help crash the wave here, but we'll see what happens. They could be a 2v2 skirmish breakout.
Very well could be. No heal on the side of Nuclear, but no exhaust on the side of Luke. See what happens. Meanwhile, Zyle, he's trying to continue with that split map pressure. He's pretty far up right now. I thought he was going to be in trouble in a 1v2, but he just turns around and starts wailing away on Dat. This Kindred has not been able to pick up, actually, let's see. 1 mark to her name, so she did get the early mark, but still wanting to wait until she gets a couple more under her belt before she starts going toe-to-toe with Zyle.
Zyle's having a lot of good impact. Oh, maybe Luke looks for some.
Good 2-man head with pulverize, but the mobility we talked about with that Rakan and the Samir, it feels like so many dashes built into her kit. Almost like a Kali when she was released. She had like all those dashes in one champion. But now, that is going to blow the early flash. Speedo, he doesn't find the knockup. Can they find the damage on top of it? So there's the turret shots. Zyle takes 1. Speedo takes 1 more, and they couldn't find the kill, and that means that when Gluten-Free Panda joins the party, they're almost certainly going to go down. Zyle tries to get a sneaky recall off, but Gluten-Free has his number. A double kill for the jungler, and all of a sudden, this early game has flipped on its head.
I'd assumed that Zyle thought that Gluten was going to be on the bottom side of the map. I think Gluten came from on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he thought it was going to be bot side since all his camps are up down there, and it was just a misread. He was looking at an invade on the top side of HU jungle, blue side, and he was able to go up there. That lived long enough so that Gluten could get there, and Gluten got the free double kill trade back. HU took a little bit too many power shots, and then that shield coming in from that saved them as well. Well played from Dat and Gluten side of ISU.
Now Zyle, though, he will not quit. He has been so active throughout this game. He blows another flash in that mid lane. You can see, though, the defensive power of that Lulu coming through. She is very behind in gold. 18 CS at 6 minutes is not a lot. You can see it's already a 500 gold lead for Speedo up there in that top lane, which is significant. I mean, it's not quite as much as we'd like it to be at this point. Obviously, you can always be further ahead. But I still think that Harrisburg is pretty comfortable. They do lose the dragon. They are going to trade it at least for that top side mark. I guess Herald's not even on the map.
Herald, yeah, no Herald, but they're looking at
who is on the map to take. It's that, and they're setting up a 3-man dive like a Moz. Just has so much burst damage. You can see double cloth armor in inventory, but no resistances against that Galleon. That is completely shoved off this huge wave. He's getting none of this. No gold or experience.
47 CS on Speedo compared to 18 on Dat, and Dat's losing this entire
crazy
2 waves and a half about. I don't know, he's gonna be able to pick up some of it. He's back. Pull back up.
They couldn't zone him off it forever. That's committing a lot of time from both Zyle and Like a Moz. You can see already Lycamaz is losing out farm here in the mid lane. Loop is trying to soak up some of that experience, but this top lane lead is not coming without a cost. Truedozer is also getting close to 20 CS up over Lycamaz right now. Just got a turret plate. He is going to be pretty quickly stacking up and ramping up here.
ISU's, they're looking for other things to do on the map while they're losing elsewhere. They're looking for responses. Oh, no flash on Dozer.
They do get the taunt off, though. That might be what they need. Luke is going to flash forward, get the headbutt pulverized. And there comes the ultimate out of Kindred. Keep Truedozer alive. Zyle has to back away. He's ignited and ticking down. Harrisburg just doesn't win. Gluten-free Panda flashes forward. Immediate exhaust keeps Luke alive. Incredible use of the exhaust there to save his life. And now, seems like Lycamaz is going to clear out this wave. Nothing ends up happening from that play, surprisingly.
Few summoners get traded back and forth, but nothing too crazy. Speedo looking for just a trade on the top lane. I don't think it's going to be anything more.
Does have a good amount of damage, but without the Sheen, doesn't have that all-in kill threat just quite yet. Eventually, though, you can see him working towards it.
Yeah, he is going for the Triforce Trinity. Zyle's going to walk over this pink ward here. He's going to get spotted out. They're going to see that he's going for the Rift Herald. The pings are coming out from ISU that Zyle is in the area as he's going to start up the Rift. We see that Tempos is also roaming topside. It's just a 2v1 bot. We'll see if they try to stop this Rift Herald play or if they go for a top play. Yeah, they're clashing on the Rift.
Yeah, Zyle is without really much backup here. He has Speedo up there in the top lane. He's able to pick up the crab, so that's going to be a little bit of vision. And you can already see Luke starting to roam up. He doesn't have the level 6 available quite yet. Yeah, Nuclear is right there. Herald's already gone down, though. Can Harrisburg find the collapse? Predator was popped from Lycamaz, but does look like they are going to let them walk away from this one. They have the potential to just drop the Herald here in the mid lane. One more plate, and the Herald will pretty much take that tower down. Well, they're going to hold on to it for the time being, though, and look for a more ideal opportunity.
Yeah, they still got 4 minutes to play with that timer. They're looking for a collapse on the bot lane. Judoza is going down. As well, Tempo comes the ult.
Good headbutt away. Looks like Luke is just going to trade his life here. Doesn't have the level 6, so he is still very squishy. But he gets Wixie out of there alive, and that's what really matters. A true support.
He said, Mr. President, get down.
Oh, this time, Dat is in a lot of trouble. The teleport comes through, but it's not quick enough. We'll see if Zyle can get away now. The flash to follow away. Gluten-free Panda is chasing down Speedo, but he has the hook shot. And Harrisburg University, they get away with murder in the top lane. Can they do it again? Lycamaz, he has the flash, but he doesn't want to go in. He knows that that plan for spite is still up and ready to use. Wixie, they've been doing a really good job holding Nuclear here in this bottom lane. Slight CS deficit for Wixie, but definitely acceptable for how much pressure Harrisburg is getting elsewhere.
Yeah, the Ezreal pick is so much safer than that immobile Ashe. Ashe, what she has, she only has her flash as a summoner spell. Ezreal has the blink, or yeah, basically a blink just to get away, a mini flash. Along with his flash, he can farm a lot further in range with the Q. It's quick cooldown compared to the W from Ashe. A lot safer pick here, and we've seen Luke not try to get too many roams off quite yet. He has been roaming up to help in little skirmishes and fights, but nothing really impactful come out of his roams thus far. As the second Drake is coming up, see if AHU is going to pick this one up, or if ISU is going to get the second one toward that shift.
They finally have level 6s on both supports, so this should be an interesting fight should it break out. Harrisburg, they're posturing like they want to go in. There's the teleport being channeled. And it is going to be ISU starting to back off. Good smoke screen in the choke point. Speedo is looking for that flank. He wants the angle onto, ideally, Nuclear. That has to be who we have eyes on here in this fight. It seems they're just juggling this aggro All ultimates available across the board. We see the majority of Skelly's going well. There goes the engage from Speedo. They found the Lulu, and he is down. Lambda is going to come out to buy a lot of time for ISU, but the health bars are dropping. Nuclear is gone, and a shutdown for Speedo means Harrisburg have just wiped this fight. Dad is going to try to survive, but the winds are going to take him away. And Harrisburg, they get the dragon. They pick up 4 kills. And that was a huge swing in tempo for them. Now 3,000 gold.
Yep, they got the fight. They got Drake. They're going to pick up the top side farm here. They're going to get a couple more plates down. They're going to reset, spend their gold, and hopefully take this advantage that they've continued to build and push it more further. More further west. English good.
That is the hope here. And they've got the comp to do so, right? I mean, yes, we talked about how many counter engage options there are on the side of Illinois State University, but none of that matters if your engage is just strong enough. If you just have the straight up stat check and Speedo is able to, like in that last fight, get on top of a member and just blow them up before any of that counter engage even has a chance to come through, then Harrisburg are going to be able to really start to crack this game wide open. Now, Illinois State, they pop the Herald. They're going to be at least getting a tower for themselves. First brick will be going over to them, split between 3 people.
Feels bad.
Oh, just by a few seconds, too. So that's actually going to really diminish how much of that comeback gold they are going to pick up for themselves. They are still 3,000 behind. Although I don't see Harrisburg complaining anytime soon.
Yeah, Speedo is still such a large CS, over 50 now, 52 CS there. Zyle, he's had such great impact. What's unhappening mid? Nah, not happening mid. Such great impact throughout the map, and it's still just a couple camps off. How many camps? Mathematically, at least 2, right? Probably like 4, 4 or 5. So he's up camps as well. He's up kills, he's up assists, he's even in kills. But he has a lot of gold as well. And then in the mid lane, pretty relatively close in CS. He's only 9 CS down from what he was, so that's kind of been stable this entire time, even with the roams that Moz has been making. And then in the bot lane, the CS gap has closed. Wixie is almost neck and neck with him, so you really like to see that. So a lot of this gold is in farm here and there, but also the kill. So if ISU is able to make a play and get kills back and get a shutdown off on Zyle and just other kills, they can bring this gold lead back. So it's not terrible looking bad for them. They definitely can do it. Oh, Luke with an engage.
Let's find Nuclear. Lots of dashes though. Once again, Samira plus Rakan. It's a lot of mobility, and you can see it on display right there. They're just able to play leapfrog all day. Kind of fun to watch, honestly, but very frustrating if you're trying to lock them down.
Yeah, and Zyle is going to pick up this Rift Herald for HU, probably break down the mid tower here. Speedo is going to match his cat down the bot lane. I don't anything crazy should happen here.
Yeah,
Maybe.
both teams are playing this one pretty standard. Like Amaz is in a potential 1v2 now. Does dodge out on that Cassiopeia ultimate. Oh, but you saw the Lulu ultimate be used here. Speedo, that's all he needs, man. He just deletes them. Blink and you'll miss it. But now in the top lane, it's a 3v3 brawl. Zyle on a killing spree now as Gluten-Free Panda flash into the waiting arms of Wixie. Tempos will make it out alive, but 3 quick kills in 2 different lanes. Harrisburg is really starting to take the reins here in game number 2.
They won on both sides of the map. Love to see it. Luke, maybe gonna look for it. No,
Okay, he's not in
they're gonna
range.
drop it.
Yeah, this is going to pick up the tower. There is no way this tower stands. Shelly charges. Oh, unless she just gets blocked by the minions. Nuclear, great escape there. He is able to get out alive with the flash. There you go. See, I wasn't a liar. No way, 0% mathematical chance that turret stays alive because it's down there. Illinois State, they're now 5,000 gold down, and luckily they were able to get that first dragon for themselves, which means that for the next couple of minutes they really don't have to pull any triggers. Now, you do still have to worry about Speedo and the amount of pressure he's able to create in side lanes, but at least you are now in a point where we have made it through the laning phase. You can kind of choose your matchups. Nuclear can sit mid, which is much safer than pushing out bot, and they can sort of just wait until at least those first items start to come through. Once Lulu gets 1 or 2 items under her belt, she's good. She's fine. She's ready to team fight. She's going to be doing a lot to keep Nuclear alive. You can see, though, 20 minutes into the game, that first item still hasn't come through. They just finished now, the Ardent Sensor. So Dat finally has some combat effectiveness. Up until this point, Speedo is had a full Triforce and then some advantage over this Lulu, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's what happens, and that's something that you can expect picking up such a support top laner. You know, it's not the duelist, it's not anything like that. You pick it to play safe and hopefully stay even or not bleed out too much in that lane, in that matchup, and then able to use your supportive abilities later on one of your carries. It didn't really work out. He did get picked on a little bit and wasn't able to stay even. He did bleed a lot out. And yeah, Speedo and Zyle played the lane really well. They played 2v1 to 2v2 as well. They played dives well, and they're able to shut that down a little bit further and take that weak chain, that weak link in the ISU chain and break it a little bit more.
Harrisburg, they're starting to just squeeze the resources away from Illinois State as well. You can see they're just trying to pick up any camps they can, but it might actually cost Dudozer his life. He steps too far out, and Speedo is just so ridiculously strong right now. Harrisburg's going to take this top lane tier 2. Plenty of standing gold still left to pick up as they march into the base, knocking on the inhibitor's door. 20 minutes here. Luke is gonna hex flash over the wall, and a taunt will force Illinois State off of its inhib. It is going to be conceded. No fight being put up. They are a 4v5, and they are 8,000 gold down. They know that this fight is not theirs to take. This is not the hill for them to die on. But the Baron might be.
Oh, Tempos. Looks like he's died on a different hill. Oh, he gets out.
So almost gets out of there alive. The Lambert fight is going to be dropped down and buy a little bit of time, but it's just going to delay the inevitable 2 more kills for Harrisburg. They are in firm control of this game. This one is theirs to lose, and it looks like we have a very good chance to be playing Silver Stripes after this one.
I would love Silver Stripes.
Such a banger.
Absolutely banger. I like that. I like ISU though, man. They're not rolling over. They're not leaking out and saying, we'll scale up a little bit. They're still trying to take some fights here and get hits back. And if they work, they're really good. Look at the shutdowns here on the side of HE. You got 400 gold on Speedo, 400 gold on Zyle, 400 gold on Wixie. Like, you got little money bags running around. So if they're able to get a kill and put that gold onto Nuclear, onto Drew, like, that's going to be pretty impactful. And maybe able to swing it slowly, bring the pendulum back in ISU's favor, and maybe help them extend this game a little longer, keep them in it.
Yeah, it's a tall order, though. You can see Nuclear still hasn't even gotten that second BF item. He's sitting on tier 1 boots at the moment, just the base boots of speed, where across the way, Wixie, he's rolling in money. He has the Triforce to finish off Muraman. He's got the Ionian boots of Lucidity. It just feels like there's no options left for Illinois State University, save a really big mess up from Harrisburg, and they've already taken down their second inhibitor now, 21 minutes in. They're looking to make it a third. The triple inhib is normally where teams say, all right, this is enough. I have to fight for this one. Illinois State, you can see them. They're starting to posture aggressively, but Wixie just has so much poke, man. Oh, there's the engage. Tempos, he goes in, but he's immediately knocked up. 4-man headbutt pulverized from Loop is a god. Speedo on a rampage. Zyle unstoppable. The whole team is showing up on the kill feed here tonight. Like a Moz is going to pick up the final one. It's just Tempos left alive. but that is not enough to stop the onslaught of members knocking their Nexus down. Zyle's even going to throw the flash in for good measure, and Harrisburg University, they will be taking us to Silver Scrapes as we go to a game 3.
Beautiful game from HU. Off the rip, they were able to get that first initial pick. Got it, the gold on the Speedo, and then this time, Zyle really... I feel like Zyle is the MVP. He was everywhere, and he really played the map super well to his advantage. He played topside. He was able to get the flash out of mid lane and repeatedly ganked the mid lane and put a lot of pressure. Even if they didn't get kills, he was able to get the summoner spills out. He was able to get huge chunks onto Drew Dozer and Dat on separate ganks. And while they did fumble up the play top that one time, they didn't stop them. Went back onto the map. They took more.
Yeah, and we got to see now a successful utilization of Speedo here in the top lane, as I mean, surprisingly enough, if you look at the damage charts, it's actually like a Moz that came out with the most DPS by just a couple hundred. Even Wixie slightly outperformed Speedo in that regard, but the amount of pressure that Speedo was able to create in that game made him, it's what Harrisburg is drafted towards, and it's how they play their style of League of Legends. And I love to see them sticking to their guns, and I love to see them making this composition work. Speedo has been the clear carry throughout the entire series. In game 1, they weren't able to punish the Shen hard enough for Speedo to create a lead to match Nuclear. This time, not only did Speedo get a lead for himself again, but they were able to shore up that mismatch that they had in the bottom lane, and Wixie was able to not let Nuclear get ahead. That was the huge night and day difference now between these two games, is when Nuclear is fed, Illinois State University look amazing. But especially when a comp is built around protecting your ADC and your ADC gets a 10 CS lead, it's just hard to play the game at that point.
Yeah. HU played to their win condition super well, and it seemed like ISU was trying to put boards on the ship while it was leaking, and rather than playing elsewhere in the bot lane and trying to grow that advantage, they were trying to stop the bleeding in the top lane and help that out. So hopefully for game 3, I want to see how ISU adapts, and if they say, all right, we'll trade you guys want to play the top side, you do that, we're going to play the bot side, we're going to get Nuclear fed, and we're going to enable him to carry, and see how that mixes up. But Wixie played super well there, along with Loop in the bot lane, and being able to play safe and not die and eat out so much gold and advantages to ISU. They played very well. Excited for game 3. It should be a bang.
It absolutely should. We'll see if Illinois State are able to take Nuclear and win them that game 3. It's a tale of two carries, but you guys know the drill. We're going to head into a short break as we get ready for that match. So in the meantime, enjoy the soothing sounds of Silver Scrapes. Welcome back, everybody. Game number 3, the ultimate game of this series between Harrisburg University and Illinois State University. I'm Caster Audio. I've been joined by none other than Johnny Vincent. It has been a wonderful ride thus far, and it is sure to be a wonderful ride right up until the end. We've had 2 really one-sided games. One where Illinois State Nuclear just ran over the game with his Samira. Second game, he didn't run over the game with his Samira, so Speedo decided to do his thing. Game number 3, gonna be a banger. We're gonna get right into the draft, though. No waiting a long round, because we both know it's gonna be a spicy one.
It's going to be an interesting draft from both sides. ISU decided to ban out the Camille this time. Not going to let Speedo get the carry that easily, but ISU picked up the Orin, and in return, HU picked up the Jax.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the next champion on the list there for Speedo. If he doesn't able to get that Camille, he usually goes towards the Jax. It's going to be going up against the Orn, the Yone coming through. This is an interesting one. We saw actually this pick was what took us down last week when we played Mirage. We saw Robbie Bob pilot that champion to near perfection. That was a masterclass from him. We'll see if Drew Dozer can have another or a good experience on it as well. It is going to be Moz back on that Galio. No changes or surprises really yet for the Harrisburg draft. This is the first big one, though. It's going to be the Vayne locked in for Nuclear. The Samira was available. They actually hovered it for a little bit there. But at the last second, the Vayne is going to come through. And it's going to be answered, Johnny, by
Draven.
There you go. The League of Draven has come to Summoner's Rift. We have completely ditched the mentality of, hey, let's sack the bottom lane and just play through Speedo. Speedo is, yes, on a carry, but we saw in game 1, Jax is a bit hard to get off the ground early. So instead, Wixie is going on the offensive, and we'll get to see him go toe-to-toe in a lane that should, by all means, be a very winning lane for Harrisburg.
But a lot of the time when HU does draft, they draft to help Speedo, but their drafts could also be used to help the bot lane. All those utility and ults, instead of using them top side, they can just bot side instead. So hopefully this game, they kind of try to put their pressure and focus down bot and get the Draven ahead. Draven is a very strong early game, powerful with the spinning axes and the W, a lot of mobility. And the Vayne is a little weaker early. She's a champion that really likes to scale and get a couple items under her belt. And even with Alistar is also really aggressive, able to get the flash pulverizes, regular pulverize, knock up. What is it? What's that combo called?
Headbutt pulverize.
Headbutt pulverize.
Yeah, we just say the names of the abilities. Really imaginative is the word. The League of Legends community loves to just name combos by the abilities. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options to punish Nuclear on this Vayne. And not a lot of options really to keep him safe either. This isn't a composition with the Lamb's Respite, with the Lulu in your back pocket. Like there's no support in these solo lanes. This is really a front-to-back team fight where, you know, Drew Dozer and Tempos, they're going to be focused on disrupting Harrisburg's backline, trying to get on top of Wixie. So Nuclear's kind of going to be weathering this storm alone between the Jax and the Galio and the Alistar, trying to just make his life a living nightmare. Now, obviously, Vayne has that outplay potential. We've all seen the clips on Reddit of Vayne just going beast mode and 1v9ing with that stealth. But it's not going to be easy. Nuclear's really going to have to put on the carry pants this game if he wants to bring this one home for Illinois State. They do still have that secondary carry in Drew Dozer, though.
Yeah, Drew Dozer, he may not have had a lot of kill impacts the previous couple of games, like even game 1, but he did have so much impact on that Corki. He had so much damage coming through. So while he didn't have the huge scoreline, he was able to carry and help his team win with the Corki alongside with Nuclear and the huge advantage that Nuclear had. So I definitely think Drew capable of carrying with the Yone, and hopefully they can get those picks early and get the Yone snowballing, and Yone can kind of carry and help carry the Vayne into the later game where then he can help
he can allow Vayne to help him, help Nuclear, help
Yeah,
Orn
absolutely.
also. Huge meatball. I'm not sure how well Draven is going to be able to deal with the Orin, how well he's going to be able to shred him. I don't know how that matchup, not, but I don't know how those interactions go. Well, as you already stated earlier, ISU is going to be looking to really engage on HU's backline, and HU is going to look to engage on ISU's backline. But HU does have the ability to also play front to back and peel a lot easier with the Galio and the Avatar and the Kindred with the ult. While not a lot of peel offered to Nuclear on the ISU side. Team
Well,
fights are going to be a little wacky.
Wacky indeed. It all comes down to this. The final game in this series, will Harrisburg be able to take the revenge and take down Illinois State University, or will Illinois State complete the perfect series record against the Storm? Don't go anywhere. The final game's coming up real soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to game number 3, the final one in this series between Harrisburg University Storm and the ISU Redbirds. We'll see. Big question at the start of every game. What does Harrisburg do with the level 1? I'm dying to know. How spicy is it going to be? Xyle and Michael Moz, they walk out together. They can't get the ward, though. Already doomed.
Already doomed. Not quite doomed yet. Yeah, it looks like a standard level 1 from both sides. Just have this line of scrimmage there. Nothing too spicy unless they're gonna go for a late invade, but pretty normal.
Yeah, you do have the Lily on the opposing side. The level 1 isn't great from Harrisburg. It's not bad. You do have the taunt from the Galio. Alistar doesn't offer much at level 1, but Draven does have a good amount of auto attack damage. But it seems like Harrisburg is actually going to play this one really safe. They're just going to start with a standard 2-man stack at the red buff, and Loop will just go for a little cheeky ward. It is going to be spotted out, so ISU will at least know that one.
Yep. He's going to be able to know it's there. He might be spotted out going to his Raptors, so they'll know where he's going to be on what side of the map. If they see him cross, they know it's top side. If they don't, they go bot side. He can maneuver his way around like he just did. I don't believe he got spotted out.
Yep.
Nope. Yeah, he's getting pinked out. They know that he's there. They know he's going to be working his way toward the top side.
Yep, and they can infer that anyway. You know, Lily almost always loves to start on the side of the map that has her Raptors. She just clears those so incredibly fast. It's the red into the Raptors or Raptors. Always has some iteration of Raptors there in that early pathing. We have to keep our eyes, though, like we said, on this bottom lane. The Draven is the big question mark here for Harrisburg. Up until this point, we've seen Wixie on very supportive champions, often giving up his lane to get Speedo ahead. Speedo does dive in for a little bit of trade, but now the spotlight is on Wixie. You know, he's going up against that Vayne. It is now on him to make sure that Nuclear doesn't get a free lane, that he is able to not only get himself an advantage, but more importantly, set that Vayne behind because Vayne is a ticking time bomb that Harrisburg do not want blowing up.
Look, Gloom looking for the gank. Level 3 gank top on Speedo. Speedo does have to flash. Oh, Speedo's going in though. Oh,
That
and
falls
Speedo.
so low at the start of that one, though.
Ooh,
Good hit, but
time bomb.
pulverized. Nuclear, he already blows the heal down to 1 auto attack worth of health. And Wixie, he's got his number. He has the axes spinning. One more good engage like that could spell Nuclear's demise. Meanwhile, Dat is still struggling up in this lane. Speedo did go back to base and teleported to lane. And Zyle, because of this pressure, ooh, big chunk of damage as he starts to counter.
Ooh, you love it when both your lanes have pryos and you're going for Mr. Krabs, and they start coming towards you, so you're able to get Mr. Krabs. It feels so good. You love to see it.
Now though, Dat, he's down to just a few hundred HP. He has the flash available, and he is still the Ornn. Harrisburg is set up in a position where they could dive him if they wanted to. Speedo is already just starting to proxy the wave. Here comes Zyle. Will they have the burst to do this? It could mean a lot. Zyle is going to tank up 1 turret shot, flashes away. First blood pre-5 minutes. Add another one to the column as Harrisburg are able to get Speedo up to a good start. It is crazy how consistently they are able to get Speedo gold in the early lead. Like, they do it every single game. At some point, you know, you would think that obviously Illinois State is aware of this. They're trying to play to defend this, but every single time Speedo is able to just create so much pressure. I'm so amazed.
Yeah, they always find a way to get Speedo the little advantages, and it's just about now taking that little advantage they got, continuing to pile that advantage.
Yeah.
I help him get going. But even if they let Wixie, you know, just get a couple of adoration stacks stacked up and then get a nice little dive going bot, they have really good dive potential with the ult coming in on Kindred as well, with the ult on Alistar. So if he's able to farm up and get those adoration stacks built, and they're able to execute a really nice dive and cash in on that adoration stacks, that's going to
Yep. Big question
be
there.
a lot of extra gold.
Big question there for Wixie is whether or not he's able to get that kill before those stacks run dry. And so far, he's doing all right in this lane. You would like to see, you know, even early on, you still would like to see a CS leave for the Draven, or at least pressure in this lane. He has a couple more minions to pick up here. So I think it will end up being a CS lead for him overall if he farms this perfectly. But Gluten-Free Panda has walked in that lane. He was just waiting around for a while to see it.
Ooh, the stack back. Ooh, gets the ult away.
Yeah, good job there by Drew Dozer to escape that one.
Yeah, he used, I don't even know what that ability is called. What, you know? Dash, and then the tether, and then he dashes
The Fate
back.
Seals. Oh, no, his W. You know, I should know, but...
Alright, so Drew Dozer uses a little W there on Yone, and when he stacked, Zyle was there, and they were able to get the blow the ultimate off, so that's even a little bit more pressure that's relieved in that lane. Again, Zyle just being where he's been, his positioning and his pathing these past couple games, being able to relieve pressure into those matchups and help his laners start building their own advantages on their own.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, as we look at the top lane, we haven't seen Speedo, despite the early assist that he got. This is a much better lane state for Dat. He's only down 7 CS. He's got the wave pushing into him. It's right on the edge of his turret. He's able to, stay in lane and buy those early armor items, which really helps him out here. And, I mean, Harrisburg, we haven't seen them in a lot of situations where Speedo doesn't get an advantage. Now, Dat, he's trying to turn it around. He drops the Ignite and actually forces the flash.
Yeah, Ornn having that unsealed spell book, being able to swip swap between summoners, gets free Ignite down, gets the flash as well out of Speedo through his ult. He was in the area, so he could have came up and followed up that gank. Oh, little skirmish going down mid. Nothing too crazy is gonna happen. Blows his ultimate, gets his flash, so hopefully Gluten-Free Panda can gank, but gank top lane now and apply pressure on the Speedo and start hurting one of those win conditions out of HU. He's now flashless.
And this is the time in the game where I would like to see Harrisburg starting to make proactive plays. You see, like Amaz is actually the one getting engaged on here in the mid lane. Wiltie's Lullaby going to go down. He does buffer it, but the Ignite rings true, and Drudozer picks up a kill there. The Loop finds a headbutt pulverize. Rakan is so slippery. They're not able to lock him down.
Really good look here by Drudozer and Blue, able to get that pick on the Maz and start building up their own win condition on their team, onto that Young on the Drudozer. So we'll see how that continues to go. If Drew can keep building this lead he just got and make it into something more. Maz did just TP into lane 2. So he died for it and he lost his flash, which really blows when you be in a lane and he dies. It's a little tilting, but Moss isn't the kind of man that gets tilted, so I'm sure he's going to be able to bounce back. Even if he's down, his utility on that Galio is so good, so I'm sure he's not got too much of a trouble situation. Dive looking down.
Here comes that ultimate from the Galio immediately on top of Zyle. They're just trying to force Nuclear off of this turret, and this is what Harrisburg uses. They have to put Nuclear behind if this composition wants to stand toe-to-toe into the mid to late game. Speedo isn't getting that advantage that we've seen out of him most of this series in that top lane. And so, I mean, maybe that changes here. Zeta gets really low with Speedo. He wants to dive one auto attack away. Speedo is going to walk away from that. But Datet has to flash away, and the Jacks will at least get some time to get some of these plates off a turret.
This is really, I think this is in favor of Datat and ISU. His Tempos looks for something and just slides on out.
You do get there, the headbutt pulverize, flash forward. Nuclear is going to flash back onto the turret. Summoner spells burnt out of both members of the bot lane. 3 out of the 4 for the one flash on the side of Harrisburg. So they don't get anything out of that play specifically, but they do make them a lot more vulnerable. Speaking of, Moz is going to dodge away on the Yone ultimate.
No flash.
Will he be able to walk away safely? I don't think he will. Gluten's going to run him down. And once again, Moz is going to go down there in that mid lane. The second kill now for Illinois State.
Really good look from Drew and Gluven as their bot lane was getting pressured. Instead of running down there trying to help them at the last second, they got to pick mid. They're going to drop that rift. Oh, Zal flashes in.
Yeah, we are going to be looking up at the top lane, though. I don't know why. The League client just loves those wet noodle fights. Herald was popped in the mid lane. Quite a few plates going over. It actually looks like Illinois State might be able to pick up that turret. No, they are just going to walk away. Once those plates go down, the turret becomes so incredibly tanky. And since Shelly had already used her charge, they will walk away from it.
Yeah, as I was saying before that little skirm broke out, ISU is continuing to build the advantage through the mid lane through Drudozer, picking up another kill on Tamaz, setting him back a little bit further behind. He's not insane far behind. He's down a level, down a couple CS, but HU is building their lead as well onto the Draven. Draven is up now almost nearly 20 CS, a little shy of 20. And a couple plates worth of gold. So Draven's gonna start building his items. Gonna get being able to hit those juicy spinning axes and chunk people out. And now, how many adoration stacks? He's probably sitting on a few. 260 adoration stacks. So those are gonna really cash in if he's able to get the kill.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a huge amount of potential gold that Draven is sitting on. At the same time, though, it'll be just that much more heartbreaking if he does lose those stacks because he has built so much up. One cash-in can be what takes Draven from a strong champion to a busted one. Speedo finds the 1v1. He's able to dodge away from the Ornhorn. It looks just too easy for him. Now they're in the bottom lane. It's the response from Illinois State. Drudozer is not able to hit the ultimate, but it doesn't matter, because Loop goes down anyway. Wixie gets out alive and he protects his stacks. Loop has just been so good at saving him this series. just so willing to throw himself into the fray. It's a tear to my eyes.
Mr. Perez is going to get
What a good
down.
support.
Yeah, but that's another kill on the Drew. And that win condition is starting to really compile. Absolutely.
And now we see Speedo. He's just going to get out of here. Not much he can do there. You're just trying to be a nuisance. Steal away some camps. Top lane turrets across the board actually are still standing. Plates will be falling in just under a minute here. And as we check in the state of our carries right now, Speedo is currently sitting 1,000 gold up over Dat. So despite the CS being pretty close, the repeated dives have been effective. And in the bot lane, Wixie is only about 500 gold up over Nuclear. Now, obviously, we talked about the stacks, and if he can cash those in, that gold lead becomes much more significant. But at this current time, Nuclear is keeping the gold pretty close, which is a good sign for Illinois State.
Yeah, we really wanted to see ISU punish Nuclear, and they have a little bit, but it's not an insane amount where Nuclear is fighting for scrap to try to stay alive in the game. He's down 20 CS, but if he's able to ramp up later in the game, he'll definitely take it. I think as a Vayne, in such an aggressive lane, coming out a little bit behind, close to even, is something you really like. It's something you're happy with taking coming out of lane phase for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. As long as they can prevent Wixie from cashing in those stacks, they are still in a position where they can sit there and scale into the late game. Luke might be caught out, stunned against the wall.
Time.
But he is able to walk away to safety for now. Zyle, a little bit of a scuffle, but he hops away. 4 members of each team have come down to the bot lane. Meanwhile, it's 1v1 on the top side. Zyle has gotten so low that he's popped the Lambert fight. He's flashless, and now Luke once again will sacrifice himself, throw himself into the waiting clutches, the jaws of Illinois State, and die for the rest of his squad.
Yeah, the rest of the squad is able to make it out, but unfortunately that's another kill going over to Illinois and going onto the Yone and making him stronger. And Yone and Drew Dozer on the Yone is really going to have a nice impact this game, as the next Drake is spawning here in about 2 minutes. So we'll see who picks that one. HU already has 2 Drake lead. Hopefully they're able to continue that and compile that lead and build it into that soul point. We are sitting on Cloud again. Cloud soul this game, where last game I believe it also was Cloud. So no spicy souls this series. But still good Drake control coming out of HU.
Yeah, what is up with that? We have seen the Infernal and Ocean be the first 2 dragons in the last 2 games. Riot's just taking all the fun in the League of Legends. We want nothing but Infernals and Oceans here. Harrisburg University. But, I mean, Harrisburg are still going to be happy that they've stacked those early ones up. A Cloud Drake, although not ideal for damage dealing or team fights, it's still going to offer a lot of utility, especially when you've got high impact ultimates like that Lambda Spike. That is going to be huge. If you can make sure that that is up in every single team fight, gives you a serious advantage, because it makes it so hard to actually dive onto Wixie and kill him when he just got that invulnerability up like every 45 seconds.
A lot of pings coming down into the side of HU's topside jungle. They see Tempest is coming up. They're going to start trying to get control of that dragon area, that bot side area for this dragon that's spawning. We'll see how this fight breaks out. See if they're finally be able to get these adoration stacks cast in on Wixie. He's sitting now at...
Gold is dead, and here comes the engage. Tempos, he's falling down so low, but he will get out alive. Huge ultimate from the Yone, as well as the Ornn. This is looking very promising for Illinois State. Nuclear has been untouched so far, and the members are dropping like flies. Those adoration stacks will be cut down. And Speedo, the last remaining member, will get chased down. Nuclear with a double kill, the 5-man ace. Perfect team fight for Illinois State University, and the game was dead even up to this point. But as we have seen so much already in this series, one play has completely turned the tide. This is an inhibitor turret going down. It might even be the inhibitor. Shelly might take that down. If you're Harrisburg, you know, there is a world they are going to finish off the Herald, but there is a world where you let that inhibitor fall just to get the free lane of minions pushing. However, you do have Baron in 2 minutes, so that could be a detriment.
Yeah, that fight was really well played from the side of ISU. Drudozer found such a juicy ultimate on Yone, able to get, I believe it was 4-man ult on them and keep them all contained as Moz did ult in as well. But at that point, the CC was there, and then Dat was able to follow up with his CC and as well as Tempos. Tempos had a really good engage. It looked kind of bad since Luke was able to headbutt him away a little bit, so he wasn't able to instantly like dash out immediately. I thought they were going to be able to get that pick, but Rakan, being the slippery salamander he is, was able to just slide right back out, and then that's when that Drudozer ult. So Ace King down for ISU, able to get a huge gold swing in their advantage, able to shut down Wixie and all of his adoration stacks. They were cut down a lot. He reset back down to 138, where he was almost he was well over 300, almost nearly 4, I believe. So you hate to see that, but ISU has the advantage going into this, the 3K gold lead, along with 2 towers. Oh, 1 tower now. But you trade 1 back in the bot lane. And they almost tie up the Drakes with 1 to 2.
Yeah, and big hero in that last fight was Drudozer on that Yone. Found the 3-man ultimate there. That fate seal definitely sealed Harrisburg's fate. As we've seen now 2 weeks in a row that this champion specifically has been the one to perform well against Harrisburg. We saw Robbie Bob just crush it 2 games in a row, and now Drudozer, he's 4-0-4. He's up 40 CS currently over Leica Moz. This feels like, I mean, logically it's not, but it feels like a champion that Harrisburg's just struggling to deal with.
Yeah, it has a lot of good engage and safety with his W. And the picks they got mid between Gluten and Drew onto Maj multiple times, I think twice or even 3 times, really gave him that snowball, and then they used that advantage and they played into the bot lane and got him even more ahead. So now you have this Yone that's a really strong duelist into Galio that isn't really, he's more of a supportive character, but building the AP, he can fight back a bit, but Drew has such a huge goal, sitting 3.5k, 4k above Maz. Maz really can't fight him and duel him here. So, but like last game, there's a lot of shutdown gold on the side of ISU this time. 600 gold sitting on Drew, 300 gold sitting on Gluten, and then 150 sitting on me. So those are some money bags that if Draven can pick up, if Wixie is able to find those kills and that gold is able to go into his pockets, it's really just going to send him and boost him and push him forward a lot in his item state and maybe allow him to carry a little bit easier. But the Vayne is starting to ramp up. She got her board, she got the ninja tabbies. I believe she's going into the Rage Blade here, pickaxe and pushing bow.
Does look like it. Pretty stable build for the Vayne there. Although I say stable, we don't really see Vayne at all in competitive play. This is definitely a treat for us, but I would expect that you're correct there. Now, it's Illinois State with the huge lead in this game, and they are setting up around this Baron. It's them now who are trying to squeeze out Harrisburg resources. They've started this one up. Vayne and Yone extremely fast at taking down these Barons. They don't necessarily have to commit to it. They can just, you know, kind of check Harrisburg's map awareness. Start it up, say, hey, Harrisburg, are you paying attention? If yeah, then sure, they'll back off. There's no harm in starting that one up. But if not, there's the potential of just getting that free Baron. Harrisburg will not be caught sleeping at the wheel.
Well, Loop might go to sleep here in a second if they want it. Oh, Speedo looking for another trade-in. But yeah, that I'm glad the Orin pick came in. I feel like last time with the Lulu is harder to maybe not execute, but she doesn't do as much as Orin can do with the being behind in gold. because Ornn has such great CC from his ult. His ultimate's always going to be impactful if he's 0-30 or if he's 30-0. The ultimate's going to be really huge. He's going to be able to scale up with his tank items, and even the value of that free gold he gets from his passive and his masterwork items. He's going to be able to upgrade the IE on onto Drew here soon. He's going to be able to upgrade. Is it a Bork? Bork upgradable? I don't even know. Maybe
Yeah,
a Bork?
Yes, the Bork is upgradable. I do believe the Black Cleaver is as well. So we'll see exactly. There's actually a lot of items available for the Jax.
They changed that a while ago.
Yeah, so we'll see what he decides to go towards, what he prioritizes. You can go for the upgrade on the Black Cleaver if you want a bit more team fight power, but Blade of the Ruined King will give you more of that lane dominance, which Speedo is definitely prioritized here in the past. He is building for the 1v1 for sure by skipping that Triforce and going for the Blade of the Ruined King and the Black Cleaver, trying to cut through all of the resistances that Dat has put for himself.
Yeah, Dat did just upgrade Drew's Infinity Edge to the Molten Edge, so he gets a lot of free extra attack damage coming out of that item for free. Good stats, free stats. You love stats, and Dat can give you the stats.
Dat the stat giver. Things have slowed down a little bit over the last couple of minutes. We did see Illinois State. They picked up that dragon. Nothing too surprising there. Harrisburg down a couple thousand gold. Are likely going to just concede a couple of these objectives for the next few minutes until they can get their farm up, get Wixie to that next item breakpoint. They really want to get him to that Infinity Edge before they go into this next team fight. You can see Nuclear, he's on that 2 items. Wixie is currently still a couple hundred gold shy, and like a Moz, is an entire health bar shy of staying alive. He's going to be looking at a green screen for the next 40 seconds. And finding themselves in a 5v4, Illinois State, they're already pinging on that Baron.
Yeah, it should open up a window for Illinois State to get that Baron, and they are doing the Baron. The teleport coming in from Speedo. Looks like they're going to try to fight this.
Yeah, Dat, he is the beefiest of meatballs in this front line. He's going to pop that Ornhorn. Speedo, meanwhile, is at a 1v3, trying to delay that Baron. He flashes away from the Rakan knockup. He's looking for Nuclear, but he doesn't have the DPS. He doesn't have the reach to get on top of the ADC. Finally, a shutdown will go over to Wixie. He cashes in on a couple of stacks, but it's a double kill for Nuclear. A 1-for-5 trade. And even though they don't have a jungler, they have the damage, and there's no contention here from Harrisburg. Baron will go over to Illinois State University along with a 7,000 gold.
Yeah, that pick onto Moz into the mid lane really was able to set up this entire sequence of events that came out from ISU. They were able to start pressuring the Baron. They got the TP out of Speedo, and then Speedo was trying to stall them, but Dat was able... Well, HE was looking for an engage on the Dat there, over that raptor wall. But
oh man, Brudozer is just relentless like a Moz. He's got 1 auto attack of HP left. He's trying to ult out of there, but it just locks him down long enough for Dat to pick up the kill. Dat giveth and Dat taketh away. It's the Ornn. They are going to come through for a reset here. Use those Baron buff recall timers. Make sure they are all nice and healthy now for what could be the final push into the base. Illinois State is just sitting so comfortably right now that if they wanted to, I'm sure that they would have no problem walking in and finishing off the game.
Yeah, I think they're going to play it a little bit slow still. They just picked up that outer turret down in the bot lane, so they're going to start looking for the tier 2s. There's no towers in the mid lane. It's a free red carpet's rolled out. They're going to be able to walk up and take that whenever they please. But now they're going to look to pressure those 2 tier 2s on the side lanes, get that gold into their pockets, even more gold.
Oh, man. And yeah, that was a good plan for Harrisburg until Zyle just gets deleted. And now we have another 30 seconds where there is a member mismatch for Illinois State University. This bot lane turret should not last for long. Like Amaz has to be careful as well, as he's taken a little bit of a chunk of damage. But Drudozer 6-0-6 right now. This man is just absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, he's almost 100 CS over Moss, but he's 5 levels. 3 levels.
Disgusting. There comes the ultimate in the back line. He's going to dive right back out after Chunky Wixie down to just a couple hundred HP. And here comes the final stand for Harrisburg. It's do or die. They're 10,000 gold down, but can they pull off the miracle fight? Dad is taking up that turret. Trudozer is falling down a little low, but he has so much damage that he's just ripping through the members. Wixie finally shuts him down, but it is quickly traded back as a double kill comes from the grade from Trudozer. And Speedo, the last remaining member, he can do what he can, but there's just not enough options against the 4-man strong team wearing purple. Illinois State will be able to clean this series up. It was a back and forth one for sure. Harrisburg, they had their shining moments in this series, but Illinois State will finish off the 2-0 series record against Harrisburg. Unfortunate, to say the least.
ASU starting the second round robin up on a loss, but this set was so much closer than the played against them, and the composition worked out for Illinois State. They were able to get the advantages where they needed the advantages, so then the flaws in their composition weren't really flaws anymore, since they were able just to so easily just hit the go button and engage on the entire composition and all the team members to get the picks they needed out of HU. It was really easy for them to execute that. But I'm sure if things worked differently, it would have been harder for them. But they played it very well with getting those picks mid and then building that advantage on the Drew, taking that advantage bot lane, building it more, and just really took advantage of what they did and how they played the map. HU faltered a little bit here, unable to make that really big impact with the Draven, and unfortunately lost the series. And now they sit 0-2 versus.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful surprise for you coming all the way from that series that we just watched. We will be getting Loop in a call for an interview. So as we wait to get him in here, we're going to get a little bit of an insight into how the support player of Harrisburg University thought that went and just kind of his thoughts in general. But I think I absolutely agree with you. This is obviously an unfortunate turn of events for Harrisburg, but again, I want to say that it's not the end of the world. I mean, this was an improvement over last time for sure. Last time these two faced off, although Harrisburg was able to get a gold lead in the second game, they weren't able to close it out. It was Nuclear who came back, turned that one around with a big Baron play, and got them the victory. So at least Harrisburg was able to take a game off them this time, and they still had some very convincing games. They were consistently able to get early advantages, put Speedo ahead. It's just that time around, they weren't able to get enough of a lead. So I'm still very hopeful for Harrisburg University.
Yep, and right now Loop is going to hop on in here. We're going to get an interview going, got a couple questions for him, and get his insight, like you said, on how he thought this series went and where they faltered in that last.
Loop, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, it's good to be here.
So, unfortunately, you guys did come off with a loss in that series, but you took it to a really close game 3. How are you guys feeling about that one?
It was a tough one. Yeah. They played their style pretty well. We tried to pull our stuff, but we couldn't really pull it off. They played really well. We almost did it. Third game we played really good early game, I think. Just couldn't finish it off, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of you games this series were really well played. You had a lot of impact too, even on the first game with Leona. While you weren't able to get those picks you were looking for, you were able to apply the pressure. My question is you for game 2, after game 1, where Samara really was able to get huge advantage and really get fed. How come going into game 2, you guys decided not to ban it? Did you think she wasn't a problem? Do you think it was the plays you guys made or the mistakes were on you guys and not the champions that were picked?
Well, in Samira's case, well, in any case, really, it's all about like how the champion got into that state, right?
Mhm.
You have to question yourself and the team, like, why did she get so fed? And if it's not really about the champion's kit, or most of the time it's going to be the matchup or some mistake you made, a play that you pulled off, and we've had good practice against Samira since she's been released, and in that game we kind of got destroyed through a few mistakes and through basically me being pulled level 1 to get the advantage on their invade top side, which meant that we lost some stuff on bot side and allowed Samira to like get some farm and start getting her stuff off. So whenever there's a champion fed, you gotta ask yourself, is it really the champion? Is it our mistake? Is it the matchup? Is it a draft mistake? Is it an in-game mistake? And then when you have that answer, you can decide if you need to pull the ban off, if you need to change draft or whatever. And then in Samira's case, it was fine. It wasn't about the champion. It was more about how we played it than Samira as a champion.
Well,
Yeah,
Luke,
and then that showed in the second game where you guys were really able to capitalize against that and not let get into that state that she previously got.
all right, Loop, you guys have gotten a chance now to play every single team in your group here. Now Illinois State twice. I'm curious, who do you think is the strongest team in your group out of Illinois State, Mirage, and TBA?
I'm not quite sure. I think uh the team we play today has I think the best matchups in terms of stylistically speaking. Yeah. So like the way they play the game is really good against the way we play the game. So if we just think about it that way, I think they're the toughest one. But since we have like a 10-man roster, we can make changes and adapt to it, and we can definitely change our playstyle coming into um, next week's of games. So I'm not really worried about our limitations. I'm worried about like how can we really evolve our playstyle and be better at the game and be a better team and be better players. Because really, they have a really good style against us, but we have talented players that are capable of like being better and being better players every day. So it's gonna sound cheesy, but we're the ones that we should be thinking about beating. Like we should only think about ourselves and how we evolve in the game.
That is very encouraging to hear. Now, Loop,
Like,
final question here. You obviously, it's been very great. You have a large community of fans coming over watching from Brazil. Is there anything you'd like to say to any of those guys that have tuned into the stream?
Uh, I'll say it in Portuguese since
Absolutely, go for it.
Muito obrigado, rapaziada, que tá sempre acompanhando aí o Lupeira jogando. Mesmo com as dificuldades de ping, vocês estão acompanhando bastante e eu sou muito grato por isso. Eu nunca vou deixar de ser grato por esse apoio de vocês. É nóis. Thank you. Just a big thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Lou, for joining us.
thank you.
Unfortunate
Appreciate
you
it.
guys took the loss today, but we'll be looking forward to your match next week. That is going to wrap it up for here on the broadcast desk. A big thank you from us as well to you guys, the fans. Thank you to everybody who helped put this show on the road. And hey, if you guys want more news on the Storm, make sure you go follow us on our socials. We upload our VODs to YouTube, updates to Twitter, the whole 9 yards. You can find the links down below. We are going to be signing off until next week. We'll be back with another UPL match. Have a good night, everyone.